Hello, peoples. The other day I got a chance to check out Saltburn. I saw it on the Thursday night showing, and here it is Tuesday because it took a while to process this one and really to gather my thoughts on this movie. And it's not necessarily, I don't think it really requires a rewatch. I just think it just requires time to think. And this movie, thought about it a lot in a good and bad way. But at the end of the day, I actually really liked this movie. I know this movie is kind of getting lukewarm reviews right now with people. Some people hate this movie with a burning passion. Some people it's messy. Some people think it's fine. Some people think it's great. And I actually thought this movie was pretty great. I don't want to say it's a misunderstood film because there's a lot of people who do like it. I just think it's a controversial movie. It's really hard to tell what Emerald Fennell is saying. I think personally what Emerald Fennell is trying to say with this movie isn't having to do with I saw a tweet. Emerald Fennell came from money. So people think that this movie is trying to be the rich person's tale of stay away from the poor person because look what they'll do to you. I disagree with that because the rich people in this movie, they're babbling idiots except for maybe Jacob Lordy's character, and he is still kind of like a stupid college kid. I think this movie definitely doesn't have a good look of anybody because you see Emerald Fennell's interviews, she's like, I don't believe anybody's a good person. As much as that makes me laugh, I can maybe relate to that statement. And there's a lot of things that were said in this movie. I was like, I can maybe relate to that. Not necessarily with the actions of the characters, but what the movie's trying to say within those actions that are dialed to 11 in this movie. I think this movie's trying to serve as an outside look of how we are as people. And I just think people are just giving Emerald Fennell too much crap just because she comes from money. I think if any other director made this that came from nothing, like Tarantino, this really wouldn't be talked down the way that it is. This movie, in a way, kind of has what I feel like that Tarantino structure, and when you take out 30 minutes and you add a bunch of hypersexual stuff, it really does feel like that. It slowly builds, and you don't necessarily know where it's going until like the last 15 minutes of the movie when it all comes together. It really depends on the viewer if it's gonna work for you. For me, it worked. I thought it was a good twist. I don't necessarily know if it's twist, but it's definitely something you don't see coming, and it won't work for everybody, but it worked for me. Barry Keoghan is fantastic. He is great in this movie. I feel like just the movie isn't going to get much Oscar buzz, if any at all, but I do think he does deserve some attention for Best Actor because he gives his 110%, and you can tell, and up until literally the very last scene, because he does some stuff in this movie. I was like, he wants an Oscar so badly because I don't know why he agreed to do some of this stuff. He did it. Rosamund Pike is in this movie. She's fantastic. Jacob Elordi is great in this movie. Everybody is really, really good in this movie. And of course, it has an interesting pace. And like I said, that pace might not for everybody. Some people might think the movie is really aimless. And I can understand that scene because the movie does feel that way for like the entire second act. But I do believe that once that third act happens and you see these reveals, and I hate to say reveals like it's a murder mystery, but like once you see these things unfold, you're really just for me, I was just like, okay, then all that stuff in the middle there was justified. It justified its own messiness for me. I really liked a lot about this movie. A lot of people are comparing it to Promising Young Woman. Do you like it more? Do you like it less? Do you think it's the same? For me, I think it's about the same quality as Promising Young Woman. I think they're both very different movies. I think where this movie is stronger is definitely with its cinematography and some of its filmmaking. It's a beautiful looking movie. It's shot in 4:3, and director of photography, I believe, is Linus Steinberg. And I really like the way he utilized 4:3 in this movie. The way that or Fennell put the faces really close together during dialogue. They place the camera perfectly in this square. With these characters talking very close to each other, it really gets filled with tension very well, and the claustrophobia of that 4:3. Even though you're seeing, Barry Keoghan's character goes to this large house, but yet they make it kind of a claustrophobic feel with a lot of the dialogue scenes, particularly towards the last half of the movie. I hate to say this is a Thanksgiving movie, but I do think that this is a Thanksgiving movie because it feels so kind of family oriented in the most messed up way possible. So yeah, this is a Thanksgiving classic in my books, and I'm gonna give Saltburn a 8.6 out of 10. Anyways, like, share, subscribe, and stuff like that, and adios.